Good morning friends, myself Rahul Eggare. I'll be dealing with the second chapter of biology, that is biological classification. So before going towards the detailed description about the biological classification, let's go with the definition. So what is the definition of biological classification? Here we'll write down the definition. So it is, see, when we talk about classification, what does it mean? It is nothing but placing the living organisms or any object into a particular group, right? So that is nothing but a classification. And when we talk about biological classification means it is about the classifying or placing the living organisms into their respective groups on the basis of certain characteristic features. Now let's define it. It is a scientific procedure of arranging living organisms into groups and subgroups on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities. So it is nothing but a procedure of arranging the living organisms. See, what we are arranging? We are arranging the living organisms, and that to be into the groups and subgroups, and on the basis of the similarities and dissimilarities. Now, when we talk about some living organisms like plants or animals or microorganisms, what comes in our mind? That how do they look? So appearance, that is the physical appearance. Now physical appearance of all the living organisms are different. Now physical appearance in case of plants, that is some are tall, some are dwarf. Okay, in case of animals, we can see four-legged animals, two-legged animals. In two-legged animals also some are tall, some are dwarf. Okay, so that is the physical appearance or the morphological appearance, and that we can differentiate the animals with similar and dissimilar characters again. So that is nothing but a definition of biological classification. In this way, we can classify the living organisms. Now, before going towards the detailed description, again we have to look after the historical background of the biological classification. Means which are the scientists which has given their significant contribution in the field of biological classification. Now, we'll write down the historical background. Okay. We'll see here the historical background. So historical background over here, it has been influenced by many different biologists. So the first idea of the biological classification was proposed by the scientist called Aristotle. In many books, it is also been shown by the Linnaeus, that is Carolus Linnaeus, that the historical background of the biological classification was given by Linnaeus. Okay, so in here we will be discussing about the contribution given by the Aristotle. Aristotle classified the living organisms into two main categories, which were this, like plants and animals. But on what basis? On the basis of morphology and mode of nutrition. So, Aristotle has classified the living organism into two main categories on the basis of morphology and the mode of nutrition. When we talk about morphology, okay, that is the external characteristics. We will discuss the morphological point later, but we will see the mode of nutrition. According to mode of nutrition, there are two types of living organisms. That is, the organism which are having autotrophic mode of nutrition, and the organism which are having the heterotrophic nutrition. So these are the two main categories, that is on the basis of the mode of nutrition. Okay, so that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. Now what are the examples under autotrophic and heterotrophic? The organism which Aristotle has put into this autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition were the plants and animals. Means he put only two kingdoms. He shown the two kingdoms are there. The kingdom Plantae is under autotrophic mode of nutrition and kingdom Animalia is under the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, you can also write Plantae instead of writing plants. Here Animalia. Okay, now the plants, on the basis of morphological characteristics, they were categorized into three main categories or three subcategories. Okay, or the subgroups you can say. That is the tallest trees, intermediate shrubs, and smallest herbs. See, according to the definition, it is a procedure of arranging the living organism into group and subgroup. So that is the group and subgroup, right? Next, animals, that is the they have the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and these animals are further classified into two main categories on the basis of whether they have red blood within them or without red blood. So Aristotle has classified animals on the basis of two main approaches, that is animal with red blood and animal without red blood. So animal with the red blood were called as the Inamia. And the animals without red blood were called as a Anaemia. Anaema. Okay. So Anaema is generally located in the vertebrates, that is the organism which are having well developed vertebral column. Okay, that is the backbone, and in the animals which are having not well developed vertebral column, that is referred as the invertebrates. So invertebrates are included under the Anaema. Okay, so these are the two main categories which was proposed by Aristotle. Okay, So this is the one of the type of the biological classification. Another type, that is two kingdom system, was actually been proposed by Carolus Linnaeus, and that we'll see here. So another category, it is the second one, two kingdom classification. This two kingdom classification was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus in the year 1735. So he published all these contribution in the book called Systema Naturae. Now, what was according to Carolus Linnaeus? There are two main kingdoms, that is Kingdom Plantae and another one was the Kingdom Animalia. This Kingdom Plantae consisted of all the unicellular and multicellular plants. This consisted of the all unicellular and multicellular plants. And here in animals, as we have discussed in the earlier, that it was being like it may be anima or enema. Again, it may have the ovipary or the vivipary, that is on the basis of type of birth they give to the young ones. Okay, animals are further classified. So these are generally heterotrophs. As they show the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, so they depend upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. And here Plantae, they are autotrophs. So this was a two kingdom classification system which was given by the Carolus Linnaeus, but there was an exception. There is a limitation to this two kingdom classification system. And what was that limitation? That some organisms, apart from the main plants and the animal, there are some organisms which have certain limitations. They are neither showing the characteristics features of the plant, neither they are showing full characteristics feature of the animals. Let's take an example. If we look after the example, you will see Euglena. Euglena or the euglenoids are those which are having the characteristic feature of the plants also. So they have the chloroplast. Chloroplast is one of the cell organelle which is involved in the process of photosynthesis. That means it helps the organisms to synthesize their own food material. So in that reference it is autotrophic, right? As we can see, the plants, they can synthesize their own food material due to the presence of chloroplast within them. But these euglenoids, they are having another feature, that is they are lacking the cell wall. Okay, so that is the characteristic feature of animals. Animal cells do not have the cell wall, right? So here again there is a controversy that euglenoids, whether they are under the Kingdom Plantae or Kingdom Animalia. Okay, so this is a exceptional one. Now apart from this, we have one more classification system, that is three kingdom classification system, which was being proposed by Ernst Haeckel. That is the third classification which was given by Ernst Haeckel. You can pause these videos and you can write down the notes. Okay, so the third one three kingdom classification. Okay, three kingdom classification system. So the three kingdom classification system was given by Ernst Haeckel. Ernst Haeckel in the year 1886. In the year 1886. According to Ernst Haeckel, there are three different types of kingdoms. He also added another kingdom, that is Kingdom Protista. Second, Kingdom Plantae. And third, that is Kingdom Animalia. Now, see, earlier we have only two kingdom classification. In that we have only plants and animals, right? But here in Protista, what he have done, he have added all the unicellular organisms. Okay, they may be the bacteria, they may be the fungi, they may be the viruses, protozoans, etc. All the unicellular organisms are put into the single kingdom, that is Kingdom Protista. So you can write here, that is all unicellular living organisms. Okay, so these are under Kingdom Protista. And as we know, in the Kingdom Plantae, we have trees, shrubs, herbs, and animals. We have the different categories again. Okay, that is Anima or Anima, right? So different categories under Kingdom Animalia. So this classification, that is the three kingdom classification, was given by Ernst Haeckel. And there is a big confusion over here. The confusion is that we don't know within this Protista whether the organisms, they are prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Means all unicellular organism, it may include certain prokaryotes, certain eukaryotes. It may also include certain saprophytes that depend upon the dead and decaying organic matter, right? So the organism which depend upon the decomposing material for the nutritional requirement are called saprophytes. And most probably fungi are the group of living organisms which are under saprophytic mode of nutrition. So here it is not mentioned clearly that whether the organism, it is bacteria, fungi or the virus. Okay. So again, this type of kingdom or classification system is showing certain limitations. Okay. Now we'll move to the another classification system, that is the four kingdom classification system, that is the fourth classification system, which was proposed by Steiner and the von Nil. So the fourth number, that is the four kingdom classification system, and which was proposed by Steiner and von Nil. So here this classification system was just proposed by these two scientists, but it was not fully developed. It was fully developed by another scientist called Copeland. So the scientist called Copeland has introduced the actual four kingdom classification system. Now what does it include? It includes one more kingdom. Okay, here for the first time we can see there is a separation of the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Okay, so what are these different categories we'll see here? It includes Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Okay, so Kingdom Monera It includes all the prokaryotes. All prokaryotes. Either they are the unicellular filamentous, whatever structure they have, they belong to the Monera, kingdom Monera, that is prokaryotes. And what is prokaryotic cell or the prokaryotes? The organisms in which there is a absence of well-developed nucleus or the other cell organelles, that is, there is a undeveloped organelles are present. Okay. Then Protista, it includes all unicellular eukaryotes. See the word. In earlier classification we have seen the prokaryotes as well as other unicellular organisms are put into the single kingdom, that is Protista. But here Copeland has modified, has identified the structures or the structural similarities, dissimilarities, and also found the certain other morphological and anatomical characters of living organism and classified the prokaryotes separately and unicellular eukaryotes separately. Then we have the kingdom Plantae, as these are the autotrophs. And kingdom Animalia, these are the heterotrophs. So this is about the 4 kingdom classification system. Next, we have another classification system, that is 5 kingdom classification, which is most commonly used or which is worldwide accepted. Okay, because it has certain criteria. So these criteria we will discuss when we will discuss about the 5 kingdom classification system in detail. Now we will see the outline of this 5 kingdom classification. So here, now the 5th one, that is 5 kingdom classification system. So this 5 kingdom classification system, it was been proposed by or given by R.H. Whitaker. R.H. Whitaker has given the 5 kingdom classification system, and this was the classification system which were including different kingdoms or different organisms according to their specific characteristics, and they were placed into their respective kingdoms. Let's take an example or overlook after these kingdoms. So it included 5 different kingdoms. So the kingdom, I'll write here, kingdom Monera, first one. Second one, Protista. Third one, fungi. You can call fungi, there are different pronunciations again. Then kingdom Plantae. And finally we have the kingdom Animalia. Now already we have seen in the kingdom Monera we have all prokaryotes. Here we have all prokaryotes. It generally includes the bacteria. Now there are certain bacteria like Archaebacteria and the Eubacteria. There are 2 categories of bacteria which are included under prokaryotes. Okay. So the Archaebacteria are generally called as the old bacteria because they are found in extreme harsh conditions. Okay. So they are also referred as extremophiles. Maybe like methanogens are there, thermophiles are there, acidophiles are there. So these are the old generation bacteria, and the new generation bacteria are called Eubacteria. Okay, which comes under this prokaryotes. Then Protista, it includes all unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, so the eukaryotes, when we talk about eukaryote, only one thing comes in our mind, that is they are multicellular. No, they are also unicellular one. Next, fungi. Now, during this entire classification system, we haven't talked about fungi because there was no just a morphological or any anatomical evidence that was showing any kind of characteristic feature of this fungi. Now, what is the characteristic feature of this fungi? Fungi, generally they are saprophytic. Okay, saprophytic in the sense or saprophytes. See, there are two categories of mode of nutrition in case of microorganisms or in the lower organism. One is called parasitic and another one is called saprophytic. Parasites are those which survive within the host, which requires a particular host organism for their nutritional requirement, and saprophytes are those which can depend upon the dead and decomposing organisms. So that is the saprophytes. Next is the plantae, which is the autotrophic. That is again trees, shrubs, herbs. Then animals or the animalia, that includes the heterotrophs. So guys, see, in this classification system we get a detailed information about the living organisms, right? So it is worldwide accepted type of classification system. Apart from this, we have one more classification system, that is sixth kingdom classification system. Now, what is the difference in this sixth kingdom classification system is it was been actually given by a scientist called Woese. It was given by Woese. So that is the sixth kingdom classification system. Now here, the first kingdom, that is Monera, it is not Monera over here. According to Woese, there are two different kingdoms again. And what are those? These are like kingdom Archaebacteria. And another one is the Eubacteria. Basically, both of these are Monera or the Monerans. Okay, these are included under Monerans. But according to Woese, this can be separately classified into two different kingdoms, that is the Archaebacteria and the Eubacteria. Archaebacteria are the old bacteria which are adapted to survive in the extreme conditions, either extreme cold condition, thermal conditions, okay, or acidic conditions also. So some organisms, microorganisms, are also found in the temperature of the boiling water, okay, that is around 100 degrees Celsius. They can perform their metabolic activities properly in that conditions also. Some are found in extreme cold conditions also. So such bacteria are the old bacteria or the ancient bacteria, and they are put under kingdom or a domain Archaebacteria. In Eubacteria, we have the advanced bacteria. Advanced means the bacteria present or they are found in the present days. Okay, these are under Eubacteria. So that is about the sixth kingdom classification system. Guys, there is another way of classifying the living organisms, that is through the that is artificial and natural classification system. Okay, so all this classification system, that is from the Aristotle's, Linnaeus, Ernst Haeckel, Copeland, then Whittaker and the whos. Okay, these classification systems are based on certain characteristic features. But when we talk about the earlier one, that is the which one? Aristotle. Okay, if we talk about the classification given by the Aristotle, even the Linnaeus, it was based on certain limited characteristic features, right? So the classification which was given by Aristotle, then Carolus Linnaeus, and third, that is the Ernst Haeckel. It was supposed to be have a limited information. That means here we were unable to differentiate the unicellular as well as the multicellular organisms separately. Okay, we were unable to differentiate the prokaryotes and eukaryotes separately, as they all have the structural dissimilarities as well as cellular dissimilarities. So that is how these are called, these are under limited information, and such type of classification was named as artificial system of classification. Okay, artificial system of classification means on the basis of morphological characters. That is on the basis of morphological characters. Then another type of classification, it is called natural system of classification. Okay, and who has given this natural system of classification? The scientist who has proposed the structural dissimilarities within the different kingdoms. Let's take an example of Copeland. That is the fourth one. And fifth one is the Whittaker. So Copeland and Whittaker, they introduced different types of kingdoms, like Kingdom Monera was there, Protista was there, and in Whittaker we have also seen the fungi. So all these living organisms, according to their specific characteristic feature function they perform, they are categorized into different categories. Okay, and these different categories are coming under the natural system of classification, and they don't have the limited information. We have a fully developed information from these two different classification systems. So this comes under natural system of classification. Okay, so this is about the two main types of classification system. Under biological classification, when you will study from the books, you will come across these two terms also. That is the artificial system of classification and the natural system of classification. To understand that, we have to understand the different types of biological classification. Okay. Okay. So in this session, we have discussed about the definition of biological classification. What is definition? The next, we have discussed about the historical background, that which scientist has given the idea about the biological classification. Okay, and different category like 2 kingdom classification, 3 kingdom classification, then 4 kingdom classification, 5 kingdom classification, and finally 6 kingdom classification also. And the artificial system of classification, which includes 3 different systems, and natural system of classification. And there is an exception. This natural system of classification is exception to evolution. So we can also classify the animals or the living organisms on the basis of phylogenetic classification system, that is the evolutionary classification. Thank you.